Hi. So I'm just setting up before um, our guest joins us. Jason Shen is our first guest today. So a warm welcome to you all. So welcome to our first Instagram live talk that we are doing from New York City. So I just got here last night. So I'm very excited to do this. Yes, here we go. Jason is just joining us now. I'm waiting for him to send me. Okay, he's just joining us.
Hey, Emery.
Hi, Jason. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thank you so much.
Welcome back to New York City.
Yes, thank you. Yes, you've been here for a long time, right? Yeah. No need to say welcome to. Yeah, I just got back 2 days ago. So where are you right now?
I'm in Rochester.
Yes, that's nice. That's nice. So you live there or?
Yeah, because I work in the Rochester Philharmonic Orchestra.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're planning to have our season resume later in September.
Oh, late in September. So it's gonna be like fully in person,
Well,
or yeah.
the musicians won't be in person in the concert hall, but the concert will be streamed online.
I see. That's great. That's lovely.
Social distancing.
Okay. All right. So Jason Chan is one of the co-founders of Musik in the Air platform that myself, Jason, and Miki Aoki, all of us, we are sort of co-founders of this. So yeah, we're going to talk about a lot of things today. But first, would you like to introduce yourself to our audience? And
yeah, sure. So my name is actually Zexun Shen, but my English name is Jason. It's easy for people to remember. And I'm originally from Shanghai, China, and I came here for college and decided to live in this country. And 4 years ago, I started my DMA degree, doctor in music, at Stony Brook University, and that's where I met Emery Yu and Miki Aoki, our pianist. And this pandemic is difficult for every of us, especially musicians, because all the concert halls are closed. We literally have no performances, and we have very low motivation to practice. So I'm glad that three of us will have this opportunity to put this together and then bring a online concert to everyone. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. We were excited about that too.
Yes.
So I was going to ask you about actually the pandemic, but since you brought it up, we can just talk about it right now. So how did you handle this, this period of, it was very difficult for sure for everyone, but for us, for musicians, and we were like really affected by it. Like, how was it like for you? Like, how did you handle it?
Yeah, I mean, for everyone, I think it's a dramatic change. I mean, for me, I was planning to do concerts and auditions in March and April, and all of a sudden everything got canceled. Yeah. So, before the RPO canceled the concert season, I was preparing for 2 different auditions, a few chamber concerts, and a bunch of orchestra performances all in the same month. And all of a sudden, just nothing happened, everything paused. And I practiced for a couple of weeks. And then, I was like, no, I can't live like that because, for musicians, the most important thing is to perform. So I started doing recordings for myself. And I think that's how Miki and I got connected about bringing a live stream concert. And then we realized that even bringing musicians together to play together is very difficult. So we chose the idea to pre-record the performance first and then stream that live.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I do all these things, so it keeps my finger moving up with all my instrument and our life more active. So
So, but what was the hardest part? Like, I mean, I know you, although not as well as Miki, but you're very disciplined, and you have the self-discipline. You like working, you like practicing. But what was it, the hardest for you? Did you find it hard to sort of concentrate, or did you find it difficult to sort of come up with creative ideas? So what was the hardest? Because for me, at least, it was difficult for me to like start practicing. And once I started, it was all fine. But like just, get myself to that room and practice, it was very difficult for me. But for you, how was it like?
Well, I think our situation is a bit different because Emery, I know you travel quite a lot.
Yeah.
I don't do that much traveling. I mainly stay in New York City. And just recently, I came back to Rochester because we were expecting some concerts happening here. But to me, the distraction at home I don't have such big space, so everything happened in the same room. And as I start practicing, I realize, oh, here's something I need to do. Oh, this place is messy. Oh, I have to cook. So those are the challenges that I found. I don't have a huge chunk of time that I can focus on just one thing because there are too many things could be distracting. And in terms of the work quality, I think, every of us are trying to do something creative with our current situation, even though it's very unusual. But, have no chance to work with another musician live. I think that's the most disappointed part in our life at this moment. Because, for violin repertoire, I'm pretty sure you guys have more solo pieces, but still, the majority of our classical music repertoire are at least duo, sometimes, larger ensemble. And I think that's the most fun part of the classical music. So that's what I really miss, the collaboration with other musicians.
Yeah. So this is surely one of the challenges that, COVID-19 brought to our lives. So when Miki, you and I, when we start this new series, Music in the Air, we thought about many things, but so do you think there was any connection between Music in the Air and this pandemic, situation that, was there any connection in the process of creating Music in the Air, thought-wise?
Yeah, definitely. First, when we look at all the pandemics happening in the past, we should be thinking we're very lucky to live in this modern era with all these technologies, because without the internet, everything will be so stuck. And, because there's no live performance going on, all the concert halls are closed, I think the only way to communicate with people is the internet, is through the internet. So since everything is happening in business, in school, or through the internet, we have so many meetings on Zoom. So we thought, why not? Why not deliver our concert on the internet? And we have such a great platform on YouTube, our website, Facebook, and I think we should really use those to connect with our audience, even through this unusual period of time. Yeah.
Yes.
So, of course, the pandemic is bad, but if it never happened, we may never have this platform either.
That's nice. Yeah, silver lining, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, now we are a little bit into what brought us creating this brand new platform. Let's talk about the concept a little bit. Like, what is Music in the Air? Like, what are we doing, and why should the audience be interested in our platform? You explained it so clearly, so well, but I think there are other, online music platforms out there. And, as an audience member, I want to know what is our difference, for example. And, let's talk about that. I can also talk about it a little bit, but if you can start.
Yeah, so about our concert series, of course, you see a lot of people doing things online nowadays. You see tons of videos of our musicians posting their performances, and there's some organization offering live stream concerts. But, just like every human being has a unique soul, each of the group has different concept ideas about the concert format. And for us, I think we really focus on the connection with the audience. And Miki Aoki, she is such talented with programming. So each of our concert, that's a really unique part. Each of our concert has a theme, a story, and that will bring something really interesting to people. Not only the story, but how we connect the repertoire with the stories or historical events or current events. For instance, our first concert is named on Elegiac. The Elegiac is the name from the Rachmaninoff trio, but it's really in a reaction of how we feel through the pandemic.
Yes, that's true.
And in the concert, we bring our audience stories of those pieces, our connection with those repertoire, and they hear all these pieces under the structure of the theme. I think that's something unique about what we do.
Yes. Also, like we are more interactive compared to the other ones online out there. Like, we are going to offer the question and answer session at the end of the concert, and before we're going to offer some like lecture pre-concert talk. So I think all these things are a little bit more friendly and more interactive. This way, I think people will feel more friendly, at least.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing about the pre-concert talk, actually, we have discussed that maybe we can record the pre-concert talk and just stream online before the concert. But and after a few discussions, we really think it would be better if we invite audience to the Zoom to give the talk in person, even though they may not be able to communicate or ask questions or participate in the conversation. But I think that being present in front of the audience is very important. Yeah, so that's just another step we went forward.
Yes, that's true. Okay, so I want to personally, from my experience working with both of you, Miki Aoki is going to join us in like exactly 20 minutes, I think. But specifically working with you, I mean, you have such amazing skills for recording and audio recording, video recording. I just want our audience to know about this. Like, how did you come about knowing so much about recording and all that stuff? Because I try to get to know about that stuff, but I'm so bad at it. So yeah.
Well, there are many different layers. To me, I never expect to do that. I always have interest to learn about recordings and editing, and I have seen a lot of people doing that in the past. But this is really the first time that I start trying on these things. And it's also related to the pandemic. In March, my orchestra, Rochester Phil, the cello section, we decided to do a couple ensemble pieces. And because we all located at different places, so the only possible way to do it is, the virtual recording. So that's when I first started doing that, literally in the end of March. And, I'm not perfect, I'm not professional, and I got a lot of help from many of my colleagues. And it's really about, have your eye open, really curious about all these things. And I think as a musician, especially musician nowadays, we really need to keep our eye open and make just all the possibility available in front of us. And I think our mission is not only perform anymore. We have to prepare the talks, communicating with our audience, also knowing about how to do the recordings, how to promote ourselves, how to live stream the concert. So I think it became part of our duty, almost. And another thing is just keep talking to colleagues, because at the beginning we didn't know which software we should use. And because Miki and I, we were part of the Hi-Face Institute, and we learned about the GarageBand, the Reaper, and all these editing softwares, and those became very helpful resource.
Sure. Yes. I mean, thanks to you, I learned about those too. Yeah. So
we're all learning from each other.
Yeah, we're all learning exactly. I'm learning a little bit more from than you there. So, so you definitely think it's very important and necessary for us musicians to acquire those skills for audio and video recording. Just not just to promote ourselves, but really to get out there and be present and be really interactive with our audience. Just one question though. What are the devices? Like, are there any recommendations you can make to our audience? Like, what are those? Because now that the pandemic is sort of over, it's not really over, but we're normalizing. But we're still, most of us, we're doing everything online. Our concerts are, one-on-one lessons. Everything is online. So, like, are there any suggestions? Like it could be brand suggestions, or it could be like technical suggestions, like microphones. Put the microphones, like, I don't know, far away from you or something like that. Any suggestions you can make?
Well, I mean, nowadays there's so many different choices. I mean, to me, the image quality is the least thing I worry about, because right now I'm using it on my iPad for live stream. I think the sound quality, video quality are good to most of people. But if for music performance or even musical recording, because we're heavily relied on the acoustic or the original sound. So when we do Zoom lessons, we really need to use an external microphone. And I always recommend to people that you get the Yeti Nano Blue or a Zoom recorder, connect to your computer, and then put the microphone as close to your instrument as possible, and then turn the input lower, so that you get the most close sound from the instrument, so you get all the details. If you put the microphone too far away, you have to increase the input level. Therefore, the microphone capture a lot of background
noise.
And then you lose the nuance of the sound from your instrument. So those are the basic setting that you need to know when you do.
Oh, this is good to know. Yes, I'll apply that to my recording session.
And we did that for our recordings as well. And when Nikki joined us online, Emery, you should talk with Nikki about the instrument she used. It's a very special. I'm gonna ask her that. Yeah, I think people will be interested.
Yes. So now, as we talk about your role and doing all this technical stuff for our recording, pre-recorded stuff that we're gonna present on Saturday. What do you think about our roles, Jason? Let's talk about our roles a little bit. Like, do you think our roles have been distributed well? I mean, personally, like, as much as I try to, contribute to this lovely project, I'm very excited. It's very difficult to do anything else but play, like, you're so good at technology. Mickey's so good at creating programming. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna play. I try to do some stuff, but playing is very hard on its own. But still, our roles, do you think, have been distributed well?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, one thing you're doing right now is you're hosting the Instagram.
Yes.
So I think, we do have clear distribution of the work for this concert series. And again, I think we're all learning from each other. So there's no specific rule saying who has to do what, and then other people don't touch that part. And I think we're all sharing our thoughts and contribute to this project. So for me, I initiate the part of the recording and live stream because I have the interest to do that. It happened. I have a very good computer and I have those equipment and software. So I said I can learn about that and doing that. But I think eventually, we will all learn a little bit about editing, and I think three of us we actually will share some of the work altogether. Yeah. But I think one important thing we should tell our audience is our role as a musician always comes first.
Yeah.
So it's our playing, our performance, our musicianship, our understanding about music, and our communication with the audience as a musician artist. I think that always comes first. And then anything beside that is to serve the purpose of being a musician.
Yes.
So, if we're not musicians, we will never come together to do this concert series. But because we are good musicians, we're serious, we're totally devoted to this and committed to our performances. So we want to bring this concert series to our audience online because of the pandemic.
Yes, it's great. So lastly, before we go into questions from our audience, I want to ask you about what cello did you use for these recordings? I mean, if you have multiple cellos, obviously.
So the instrument I'm using is an unknown instrument. I think you have an instrument unknown as well.
Yes.
Actually, the string instruments are the price. I'm speechless. It's so expensive. I don't understand. It's just a piece of wood, but it makes great sound if it's in right version.
Yes.
But the price is unaffordable for most of us.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how famous you are. The most expensive cello could be 27 million or 28 million. Yeah. So we will never gain that much wealth by just playing concerts. So I think we're lucky to have a good instrument, old decent instrument on loan. And the cello I'm playing on is an Italian cello made in 1720, I've got a year, 1723 or 28, I forgot, yeah. But the maker is Matteo Goffeller.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just looked at the certificate the other day. It was owned by the principal cellist from the opera house in Italy, La Scala.
Wow.
In the early 20th century. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. I myself use a French violin grandioso for my regular concerts, but sometimes if I have like really important concerts, I really lucky to just have Florian Leonhardt's New York office, and sometimes I go there and try out some violins for a little longer than a week to play my concerts. Yeah. So okay. So we got a couple of questions for. I think, for you personally or for our project as well. What is your favorite piece in the repertoire of Saturday's concert?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely the Rachmaninoff.
Definitely Rachmaninoff.
Yeah, I think that's our highlights of the concert. I don't know if you agree with me. I mean, your Kodai piece sounded very good. I love that, but the Rachmaninoff is, it certainly is not one of the most brilliant pieces composed by Rachmaninoff. But thinking about he wrote that when he was 18, I think.
Yeah. And
he finished that just in 4 weeks. I am 29. Just had my birthday in May. And, just compare myself with those great composers. They're definitely so talented. And also their experiences. I don't know why Rachmaninoff named the piece Trio Elegiac. Certainly the thing, a minor piece in G minor, and then it ended with a funeral march. But, just thinking about how much a person needs to go through in their life to be able to feel some emotions goes that deep. That's really inspiring to every of us. Yeah.
Sure, definitely. Yeah. So we have two other questions. How did you decide to play together?
I mean, us for this project?
Well, yes. I mean, well, you can answer that question as well.
Well, what do you think? I mean,
no, I think separately we both sort of have played with Mickey in the past, but then all three of us we got together for this project. I think Music in the Air was the main cause of us playing together. But I think you played with Mickey separately, with Don Mickey, when I played with Mickey separately at a different project. So, but yeah, I think I don't know if you answered our audience members' question.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the truth is, we knew each other from Stony Brook University. But we never played together, three of us, but we all played with Mickey. So both of us has come with Mickey, but the idea of bringing concert online to the audience, I think it came across all three of us, and that's what united us together. And also, even before we met in person, that we all know each other's playing from the school.
Of course.
And we all know our personalities, not from conversations or life, but through music. Yeah. So we can just say, it's really the music and the ideas about music.
Yeah. So we have another question. How can I join the concert? Should I buy a ticket or something like that? Thank you.
Oh, yeah. So we create our website, and then if you visit our website, musicintheair.com, I think on the front page, you will find our concert information of August 22nd. And then you can go click on Learn More, and you will see the programs. And on the right side of the page, there's a bottom you can click to buy ticket. And the ticket is only $8. And then you can watch live on Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, or you can watch later. I mean, even the live stream and the playback feature is still available. And you can always access to the concert within the period after the live stream.
Yes, that was one of the questions I was going to say, actually. After some audience members said afterward, would it be available? Yes.
And you can watch as many times as you want. If you really like the Rachmaninoff, you can go back and just watch that couple of times. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So before I invite Miki Aoki into this live talk, I have one more question.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's both of us can contribute to the answer of this question, but we know how difficult it is. You know, just starting something new, just for a startup or just for non-profit organizations, for like anything really. Are we satisfied for the funding that we have, or are we looking for sponsorships in the future?
Oh yeah, I mean, we definitely need support from our public. I mean, you're from Europe and I'm from China. And Nikki spent her majority of time in Europe as well. Each country has different situations. Like in China, everything is funded by the government, so that became relatively easy. And I think in Europe, a lot of orchestra and organizations are funded by government. But here, it's all supported by the public.
Yeah.
And we just started this month, and we spent a lot of time working on recordings, promoting ourselves, doing editings, come up with program ideas. But our funding, I mean, it is literally zero, right? So, and we cannot rely on ticket sales, because first we charge too much for the concert, and I think most people with the pandemic situation, they're not that flexible with their finance. So we prefer to offer a concert with a reasonable price, affordable price. So if people think our project is worth to the community, to the people in this country, or even people in Europe or in Asia, that they found this really interesting, they learn something from us, and they're inspired by what we do, then I encourage you to support us by donating through our website.
Yes, we have that section on our website. Exactly. Okay, Jason, thank you so much for joining us and for all the lovely conversational, great information. And you are gonna be with us on Saturday. So let's just say it out there. We have this online concert on Saturday, and Jason, a lovely cellist with all his talents, both playing and recording and audio recording and everything, will be with us. So thank you so much. And now we are gonna have our lovely Miki Aoki in our chat. All right, bye-bye. Thank you. Yes. So now yes, I am adding Miki Aoki. I'm waiting for her to join us. Yes. Miki, are you there? I think she's joining us through Musik in the Air Instagram account. So once she's here, I will accept her. But I think she's on the way. I think she is. I think we're having a little bit of trouble connecting her. Okay, I will connect her again. Let's see. Okay, I'm waiting for her again. Okay, and I think she's gonna join us from her account, not Musik in the Air. Yes. Okay, I'm waiting for her to accept the invitation. Mickey, is the request coming along? Okay. You're patient. We have the time. We can wait. It's getting sent. Oh, I'm connecting. Great.
Oh, sorry, there was so much problem.
It's okay. I think maybe there was something to do with the music in the air page or something.
Maybe. Hello.
Reason to get more technical support from Jason Shen, huh? Yes. Warm welcome to you. So we are at last in the same country, huh?
Yes, welcome back.
Yes. Okay. So you are in the city, right now, Manhattan.
Yes.
Okay.
I've been here for a while.
Yeah, you've been here for the entire pandemic, right? And before that as well. Great. So how was it? How was the pandemic? Like, how did you handle it? Was it?
I mean, when was that? I was last time on your Instagram live, like May or something?
We did no. I think it was in April or something.
Oh my goodness, that long ago. Well, I mean, time flew by, and I think it was a different set of challenges for the summer, because summer is the time usually musicians like us go to festivals and travel. It was definitely my first year to stay the entire summer in the city.
Yeah.
But, surprisingly, there was a lot to do. I made a lot of recordings. I worked for Heifetz, which was virtual, but I had to do a lot of recordings at home.
Yeah.
So now it's almost end of summer.
No, yeah, exactly. I thought it was never going to end, but exactly, it was. Yeah. So okay. If you like, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit, and where you come from and where you're based?
Sure. My name is Miki, and I'm originally from Japan. I grew up in London, then I actually came over to US for my undergrad and master's, and then I went back to Europe for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came back here 3 years ago now, almost 3 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yes, and that's where I think we met in Stony Brook when you just came, or was it like a year after?
That was a year after.
That was a year after. I remember. Okay. Yeah. So so you said your summer was very busy, right? With recording online and doing all that stuff. So I think I asked the same question to Jason, but I think it's nice to have another opinion, another perspective. So do you think what your experience with the pandemic had anything to do with coming up with this idea of creating an online platform in the air? What is the relationship for you?
Sure. So, I mean, I guess that's the same for all of us. I think in March, when our lives basically stopped, and then for musicians, I think there was feeling like, oh, it's temporary. Like, okay, concerts are getting canceled for now, but maybe by summer we'll play again, or it was that kind of temporary feeling. And I think that feeling went away pretty fast. We knew we weren't gonna be playing for a long time in public. I didn't really panic. I just thought, wow, this is like a new style of life, that we don't even remember, like living like this, where you just don't know when the next time you're performing or traveling to perform. And I started to notice like a lot of my friends or colleagues get really depressed because they lost like motivation, basically, because it's like, if you don't have a performance plan, like why would you practice or prepare a program, right? And then I thought to myself, well, if we are going to wait for a performance opportunity, even for online things, we're relying on someone else to give you that opportunity. Why don't we just make one?
Exactly. That's great. Yeah. So I thought the same way. I mean, I told Jason, it was so difficult for me to find that motivation. I mean, normally.
I remember that. I remember talking to you.
Yeah, like it was never a problem for me. Like I would always practice so much, like 6-7 hours a day when I was a little kid. But for some reason, as you get older, I don't know. I think it's about looking everything in a more professional way and more like practically. If I don't have any performance, you just your inner voice says, like why would I practice? But then you want to practice, you want to like improve your technique or like something that you feel you're lack, you have you need to improve, and then it just becomes really boring because you're like at like technical like exercises and everything. You don't learn anything. You might have trust on the
exactly. And I think it's interesting, you know, because I think during this like pandemic time was also time that we learned a lot about ourselves, and I think we realized things that we never knew about, you know, not just us like individually, but about human beings. Like we cannot, I think, function like well if we don't have a goal. Like we can be very disciplined, right? And you can say like, well, let's practice etudes or like pieces we haven't played and let's learn them. But ultimately, if you don't have a goal, like as human beings, like we cannot focus. So I thought that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and we had a lot of, we should do something, and
yeah.
We had a lot of like different routes of creative ideas. Okay, so I just want to talk about the concept, and I talked to Jason about this a little bit, but what is your opinion on why our audience should choose? Like why would they be interested in us? Like what do we offer that is different, in your opinion?
I guess you know, we are aware that there's a lot of online platforms out there now, and there has been throughout the pandemic, you know, people playing from their living rooms and all this. I think we wanted to try to combine something that is maybe in live concerts is not possible. For example, in live concerts, you don't usually get to talk to the artists. And this way, by creating pre-concert talk and after-concert reception style Zoom talks, we are able to talk to our audiences and, you know, listen to the like direct feedback. So I think that makes it more personal. Also for online concerts, right? Like we do need to be concerned about time, the duration of the concert. When it's too long, it doesn't work. So we're able to have this kind of 45-minute program, which makes it more like compact as a theme. You know, we can really stick to one theme per program to tell some kind of story. So I think those are like some of our advantages. And we do, you know, I mentioned this in some of the talks I did, video talks, but we do want to eventually go, you know, to be a live concert series. But for now, I think it is really important that our audience is safe, and we don't want anyone to risk anything. So I think this is a good way that we're meeting online to perform. And also there's also advantage that actually, you know, we, like you're from Turkey, and a lot of my friends in Europe, and then my family's in Japan. Like this way, like every one of these friends can attend our concerts. You know, it's not like in New York City where only like our friends in New York can participate, right? So I think that's pretty nice.
Yes, it's great. Exactly. I agree with you, certainly. So yeah, you talked about themes and program. I was talking to Jason, and he's so talented at tech, you know, doing recordings and everything. And he's just so creative and talented in creating different, you know, storytelling ways of, you know, just communicating with our audience, with, like, you know, through different stories and different programs. So it's just, you're so good at that. You're so creative. So what makes you think? So what do you think this Music in the Air, like you said, it's very special because you know, we have different themes for every concert. So I just want to, like, I had this question from a friend of mine actually a couple of days ago. Why did you start off with a dark theme? Like, why was your theme elegiac?
Well, specifically with that, I think I also explained this in my brief introduction of the theme video on YouTube
That you
a
will
few
see
days
on,
ago.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's because there's two extreme emotions that are expressed in general, but also in music is the kind of the joy and the happiness and love. You know, there's a lot of pieces written in that theme too, right? Love and all that. And then there's the kind of the deeper, the darker side, like this program is. And I feel that we are able to express in words or in daily life much more of the happiness. It comes out more openly, like everyone talks about it. Otherwise, in the darker side of emotions, people don't necessarily want to talk about it. So that makes the music, I feel, like more layered in, interesting layers that we can have so many different interpretations of how that music is. And I'm always fascinated by it. So, I mean, the theme of this is not to get depressed.
Yeah,
but
right.
sort of like different dimensions of it. Unlike our piece, Kodai is not exactly very depressing, right?
No, it's not. And it's actually, yeah, it's not very, it's not 100% sure what it is really explaining, because it's sort of like in the middle of Kodai. But I think it works really well with the rest of the program. Like it's very, it's melancholic, definitely melancholic, and it's very passionate. It's surprising. It's very romantic too. Like chords and stuff. I was just like studying it a little bit.
Pretty romantic in general, I find.
Yeah, like before he went into all this like folk song, interested in this folk song and creating all that, different areas of his life. So, like I actually just want to ask you something that I forgot to ask Jason. We had all these roles and stuff, like, I mostly had the playing part. So, you both were... I know, host, yeah. And then, you both are great at, all that stuff. But what were the challenges of working with me or Jason and with yourself? Like, did you feel any challenges preparing for this premiere for our concert on Saturday?
I think it's always hard because something like this, none of us have done it before. And I think as musicians, we're used to just playing and being taken care of for other things. Like when you go and perform concerts, like we don't worry about putting, recording devices and putting a show together. So I think all this having to do like multitask, like all of it was definitely very challenging. And I'm not super tech savvy, so figuring out things sometimes is very frustrating because it takes a long time. But I think Heifetz did help me a lot, and then Jason knows a lot, and so I think that's good also for us to like communicate, like talk about how we're gonna do this. I think it's been working.
Yeah, I think so too. But I always thought, I do solo concerts and chamber concerts, and we all do that stuff. But just actually getting together and creating something new. Playing wise, we do that all the time. We learn different trios, we learn like brand new pieces, and we just bring them to life. But actually bring a project to life together, not alone, is actually something I'd never done, and it was actually quite challenging for me because you have to sort of agree to disagree. So it's it's quite you learn a lot of things from that experience. Okay, so we have some questions from our audience actually that I want to ask you about our project. First, do we plan to collaborate with other musicians?
Yes, we love to collaborate with other musicians, and we have, of course, this is going to be our first concert this Saturday, so we have ideas, that are already, coming up, like cooking up. But I think right now, like what Jason was saying earlier, was about like our budget and so on, like where I think figuring out, if we can, invite other artists to join us, So eventually we'd definitely love to have other artists collaborate.
Yes, definitely, yeah. And also, there was another question. Will there be like only solo performances, or will it be a combination of chamber and solo? I think it will be a combination.
Oh, sure.
Right? Yeah.
So I don't think not everyone knows this yet, since we haven't had our first concert, but we are doing a lot of remote recordings. So now Emre is in New York, but he was in Turkey, and then Jason and I went to different locations. So 3 of us were recording separately and putting it together, which is a lot of work because we have to listen to or watch the video of the other person playing, and then the third person has to listen to like either two of the recordings together or separate recordings. It's like a puzzle, right?
Yes.
Incredible work.
Incredible work, yeah.
But you really get to know the pieces well, right?
You do, yes. You actually get to study the score, which you know wouldn't. I feel lazy. I never let the score. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
I do. So yeah, no, exactly. That's true. So that doing remote things, it was very difficult. It's actually it takes a lot of time. You know.
Yes, it takes a lot, and also because I think we don't realize some of the things we take for granted, like on stage, like. You know, if I'm playing with you and we're like on stage, I'm just gonna like look at you and, you know, a great violinist like you, like I just see it in your body language, like when you start or timing things. But if you're just like listening to a recording, you can't visually see anything. So it's like starting a piece can be like the hardest thing. Like it's
we had those tips, like, because I never done it. Like Jason and you as well, I think you were like giving me tips on like, okay, Emre, you need to like count 1, 2, 3 before you start or something like that. You know, those things are really helpful, but you would never know exactly. So doing remote things just was really challenging actually. But we said there'll be combinations of these works, I think, but like the more people you put into at chamber work, I think the more challenging it gets. But I think, up to 3, 4 people is doable, definitely. Whenever we will have the chance, I think obviously we're going to record.
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to record in person and then put it out there for a live concert. But just doing it remotely is actually a little, and it limits the repertoire as well, because it's difficult to do like a Brahms trio, for example, remotely. But just in person, I think it'll be easier. We have a question. Interesting. What is your piano?
What is my piano?
Yeah.
So, well, this piano is like actually really interesting because, well, first of all, I got this through Heifetz Institute before the institute started. Because I didn't actually have a piano here. Mm-hmm. My piano is in Austria. So I had a keyboard, a very good keyboard here, but before the pandemic, I could play on acoustic pianos in the institutions I work at and everything, so I didn't really worry about it. But when I started being home and having to make recordings, and it was a little bit frustrating. So yes, they delivered it to me. And it's a Yamaha piano that's what's called hybrid piano. And I didn't even know what that was until I got it, because it seemed like it's like a really good version of an electric piano, because I still have to plug it in. So I thought it was like an electric piano.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was talking to a piano dealer that I know very well. And he explained to me that no, it's not like electric, it's hybrid. And I was like, well, what's the difference? And this piano actually has the actual piano hammers inside. So the action is actually a real piano, but the sound is produced electrically, and it's reproducing the sound quality of grand pianos, the concert hall pianos.
Yeah.
So the advantage of making recordings at home is, first of all, it's never out of tune.
Oh, that's great.
I can be in tune, but the action is like real piano. The sound is beautiful. And for the kind of recordings we're doing, actually I have what's called a stereo TRS cable, which has like 2 ends connected to the piano directly to an interface, which is actually like my Zoom recorder works as interface. So you plug that in here.
Oh, I see.
Like this, right? And then I connect it to my computer. Then I can make a stereo quality recording without any acoustic noise. So my piano sound is, I live in the city, so the outside can be really loud sometimes.
Yeah.
None of the other noise go into the recording. So
that's great.
Yeah, it's a good.
So you would definitely recommend that for people, who are giving online lessons. And
this is I don't have this as a new instrument, but if it's new, it's a little pricey. I know now the Kawaii
Yes, I heard. A friend of mine just got that as well. Yeah, so we have another question. Will you ever have a live concert?
When or if?
No, will you ever have a live concert,
yes.
like in person?
As soon as times get better and we're allowed to do that, of course, there's nothing like live concerts, right?
Yeah.
So we'll definitely like this series to go as live concert.
Music in the air, we will go.
And then we will live stream that live concert too for people who can't be there physically. But yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, our title actually, we talk about this title, Music in the Air.
Actually, Emre's idea. So Emre, why don't you tell us?
That was not my idea, exactly. Yeah. I was actually in the car waiting for my parents. They were coming from somewhere, and I was just thinking about what could be our title, and it was actually the first thing that came to mind. That was so interesting. Like, just like this, like Music in there. But I didn't think it would be a good title at first. But as we sort of elaborated on it, with you and Jason, like I thought it was actually a good title, because there's a musical called Music in the Air. I just completely thought about it from that, being inspired from that musical. But then, Music in the Air is actually something is in the air, something is coming up. But also, being in the air, especially in this pandemic process, and everything being, electronic and being sort of safer, just to be safer on that virtual platform. I think that reflects well on that title. But definitely doesn't mean that everything's going to be on air. We will definitely play live concerts, but they will be recorded and they will be aired to our audience. On different platforms like Instagram, like Facebook, like YouTube, like what we're going to do on Saturday, right? Yes. So is there anything you want to say to our audience before we close today's talk about Saturday, about inviting them and about how to get tickets?
Yes, it would be so nice to have you come to our first concert, because we put in a lot of heart into this. Like making this program and playing it together. So it'll be so nice to see you all. We have the pre-concert talk at 1:30 and the concert is at 2 p.m. on Saturday. And all this information is on our website. You do need to go through our website to click on the tickets. Is that right, Emma?
Yes, they need to. Yes, they need to purchase the ticket first, and then they will get.
But you only need one ticket. Like if you're in a household, you can watch with 10 people.
Yes, that's great.
It will be so nice. And then the program, as I think, with all the talks, little introductions in between by Emma, I think the concert is about 55 minutes in total. Playing time is about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then after the concert, we can meet again if you have any questions or something like that. So
yeah.
We would love you to join us on Saturday.
Yeah, we will have that question and answers session. If you have questions, you can ask. But also, if they have questions, they can they ask before?
Yes, they can submit it on the website. There's a form there.
They can submit it. Yes.
Ask, and really, you can ask anything about about us individually as musicians, about the program, about
what is your favorite color? Anything. Yeah. Exactly. Yes. Anything, exactly. Anything personal. Yeah. So yes, we love to have you there. And as Miki said, we put in a lot of hard work, and we were just so excited to do it, and we still are excited to do it. And I have a feeling it will be great. I'm just so excited about it.
Yeah. As I think we are performing musicians, all three of us. And we know what it feels like as musicians and also as audience, because we attend concerts too. And in times like this, like arts and culture, we are kind of the last thing that's important. It feels like that in society because things are very difficult right now. But I think music needs to stay alive, and I think that's our mission.
Yeah.
To keep it, excite everyone. So.
Exactly. Yeah, we are not. Yeah, we keep seeing those, surveys that show, music or arts in general is one of the top fields in the world, just to be considered non-essential.
Right.
And I was just so sad to see this. I mean, non-essential for what? I mean, according to what? Yes, obviously, health sector is very important, and obviously security is important. Obviously, education is so important.
Yes.
But what is left if you have all those concrete things? I mean, what is that for our soul, for our inner healing, for our inner development? I think music is definitely just one of those really important core things to have with us in any time, in the time of a crisis, in the time of a happy coincidence, anything really. Music should always be there, I think.
Yes, and we have to remember that we have a younger generation of musicians, in schools still, in conservatories, in education. We have to give them hope, right?
Yes.
And let them just think now, like, there's no future. Why am I studying music? I think it's very important that we keep that hope alive.
Exactly. Right? Exactly. And this is one of our missions as Music in the Air. So thank you so much, Miki, for being with us. Yes. So for our audience, we will be with you on Saturday on YouTube live, and